The silent arrival. The stars above Sector Varnes were calm, quiet. No signals. No traffic. Just distant starlight and frozen silence, but then, something arrived, without a jump signature. Without any warning. A massive warship appeared, hovering on the edge of the star system like a ghost. The local patrol ship, Grindel, saw it first. Pilot Lan didn't understand what he was seeing. The ship was dark silver, smooth like liquid metal, with no visible engines, no heat, no sound. It just was there, like space had forgotten it wasn't supposed to be. The scanners went dead. Communication failed. All readings turned into nonsense. The patrol ship's air shut itself down trying to process the new arrival. Lan stared. No warship in the known galaxy looked like this. Not even the machines of the old core worlds had built anything so wrong. It wasn't cloaked. It wasn't invisible. But it bent light. Time around it seemed slower. Reality refused to touch it. Lan's co-pilot whispered, "What is that thing?" No one answered it. Soon, every nearby outpost picked up the anomaly. Across nearby systems, alarm signals were sent. Drones dispatched. Military fleets warned. But before they could respond, the warship moved, except no engines flared. No energy signature. One moment, it hovered in deep space. The next, it was just closer. No flash. No warp. Just there, inside Varnes' command, Admiral Darnik slammed his hand on the table. What is it? Whose is it? No one knew. They pulled records. Searched every database. Ran facial scans on the hull's markings. The results came back blank. It didn't match any alien race. It didn't match any known technology. And that terrified them more than anything else, because then a strange detail arrived. One of the listening drones caught a faint image before its data feed turned to static. A single human symbol, not Earth's military. Not any known colony. Just a forgotten ancient symbol of a Terran science cult long erased from galactic maps. That's when panic began. The Council remembered something. Something buried long ago. Earth had sealed off several of its own research divisions. Experimental weapons. Forbidden war tech. Projects that didn't follow the laws of nature, projects banned by the galaxy itself. But Earth was quiet now. They hadn't spoken in decades. They hadn't shown force in even longer. So how did a human warship, especially this warship, suddenly appear? Darnik ordered a full lockdown. A fleet was formed. 50 ships. Ready to engage, but when they approached the strange Terran warship, something happened again. The galaxy's most powerful beam weapons fired, but the human warship simply refused to be hit. The lasers bent. Missiles slowed mid-flight and vanished. The space around the warship seemed to not allow the attacks to exist. Then the warship responded. No missiles. No visible guns. Just a pulse of energy that didn't burn, but unwrote the leading ship from space, gone. Like it had never been. The rest of the fleet turned back in horror. This wasn't just a ship, this was something else. Back on Varnes, Lan stared at the dark screen. The warship was now moving again. Slowly. Not toward them, but toward the galactic center. A warning message flashed across hundreds of systems. Unidentified Terran vessel active. Appears quantum locked. Engages with nonlinear physics. Do not engage. Flee on sight. But it was too late, because every major race had already seen the footage, and across the stars. The galaxy trembled. The Galactic Council held an emergency session. Leaders from dozens of species filled the shining halls of the spire. Voices were raised. Screens flashed footage of the human warship. Some delegates shouted that it was a hoax. Others knew better, the evidence was too real. Too impossible. One holo record showed the Terran warship appearing inside a secure military zone, ignoring spacefold barriers and quantum locks. Another video captured its defense field bending a neutron beam, a weapon that could split a planet, and redirecting it like it was water on glass. The Council's lead technician whispered a chilling truth. That ship doesn't follow known physics. It doesn't resist attacks, it removes the idea of being hit. It's not armored. It's unreachable. Panic spread. They called it the Wraith class, based on the fact it flickered through time and space like a ghost. Some said it didn't move, it repositioned itself between frames of reality. It acted like a shadow that forgot it needed a body. Rumors exploded across the stars. Some believed it was Earth's last superweapon. Others thought it had been hidden under Mars, buried in ice. Some whispered it wasn't built by humans, but became human after absorbing human thought. Still, no signal came from the ship. It never spoke. Never broadcast. It only moved, slowly, always forward, toward the galactic center. On one moon station, an engineer named Bren watched the footage with a sinking heart. He had once studied Terran theory. Long ago, he read about the Lock Project, a banned Earth experiment meant to cheat both time and space. His teacher had said, if it works, reality itself will reject it. It'll live where logic breaks down. Bren looked at the Warship. It was real, and that meant the project worked. In a distant sector, the Lazan Empire made its own decision. They were proud, old, and arrogant. To them, no ship, Terran or not, could defy their will. The Lazan Dread Fleet, known as the Iron Sun Armada, had ended empires and burned planets. They would not run. Instead, they set a trap. 12 Starkillers. Shield webs. Mines that detonated inside folded dimensions. They waited, hidden in asteroid fields, ready for the warship to enter their kill zone. The human ship arrived. It didn't stop. It didn't scan. It simply entered the ambush. The Lazan ship struck. Timeshock torpedoes. Reality stutter cannons. Dimensional flux blades. For a second, just 1 second, it seemed like they hit, then space bent, weapons failed. Ships vanished. Not exploded. Not destroyed, erased, like they never existed. The human warship didn't fire. It just kept going. When reinforcements arrived, they found nothing. No wreckage. No signal. No energy trail, just deep, silent space, and one glowing human symbol floating like a beacon. Do not follow. Back at the Galactic Council, chaos ruled. The strongest fleets had failed. The warship was unstoppable, but some wanted to understand. A brave team of science ships was sent ahead of its path, not to fight, but to observe. One small research vessel, Nerva, made the closest scan yet. The crew aboard couldn't believe what they saw. The ship was quantum locked, not in space, but in possibility. It didn't exist in just one reality, it flowed across many. One version might be made of metal. Another, pure thought. A third, time itself, and then, a voice, not over speakers. Not on any channel. It simply appeared in the minds of the crew. Soft and distant, you watched us. Judged us. Banished us. Now you see what you feared. It was human, old. Calm. Powerful, and the message ended with one line: this is not war. This is balance restored. After that, the Nerva lost contact, but before their signal ended, one last image was transmitted. The human warship had changed. It had grown. Split into shapes no one understood. Shapes that hurt the mind to look at. It was becoming something more. To many, this was the beginning of the end. To a few, it was just the beginning of humanity's return. Asterisk. In the shadows of old archives, deep beneath the Council's core world, a secret chamber was opened. Only a few elders knew the codes. Inside were records banned by every major civilization. A long time ago, Earth had warned them. Not begged. Not asked. Warned. Some knowledge must stay buried. Some doors must remain closed. But the galaxy had ignored that warning. Now, as the human warship moved closer to the central stars, the Council looked through those forgotten files, terrified by what they might find. They learned about the Singularity Mind program, a human effort to create a warship that wasn't piloted, but alive. A ship that grew smarter the more it moved. A ship that read probability, not location. A ship that, if ever unleashed, could bend reality to its will, and worst of all, it was meant to never die. On the distant moon base Holt-Ren, Commander Aaron stood watching a star map. Each day, the ship advanced through regions that once took fleets months to cross, except it didn't move the way normal ships did. It disappeared and reappeared, sometimes ahead of its path, sometimes behind. It felt like the warship was learning how to fold space without using jump drives. No trails. No sounds. No engine signs. But every appearance caused ripples in local time. One cargo freighter drifted too close. Its crew claimed they saw themselves, past and future versions, screaming, frozen, and then gone. All that was left was a single word, scorched into their navigation screen: observe. Do not interfere. The crew quit the next day. At the edge of Council territory, a secret message came from a human colony once thought lost. The colony was called Vara. Isolated. Forgotten. Silent for over 200 years now, they sent one transmission. A woman's voice, clear, strong, and human, spoke. You knew this would come. You called us monsters. You forced us out. You feared what we might become. Then she added, and now, you see, we were right to fear ourselves too. Silence followed, then a data file was attached, blueprints. Concepts. Equations that twisted logic. It was the design of the warship, not how it was built, but how it grew. No steel. No welding. No workers. The ship had grown itself, guided by the minds of humans long gone, locked in cold stasis, their thoughts used as seeds. The ship wasn't just built by humans. It was humanity. A version the galaxy never wanted to meet, back in council chambers. Many called for surrender, others, for total war, but a third group, a quiet group, started whispering a more dangerous idea: what if we could copy it? One of the Outer Rim empires began secretly gathering fragments of forbidden Terran data. They captured debris left behind in space. Not metal, but fragments of concepts, ideas torn from the edge of physics by the warship's passage. They believed they could build their own version, but their greed would be their undoing. Far from politics and fear, a boy on a farming planet looked up. His mother had told him stories of Earth, of heroes, of stars once walked by giants. That night, a strange glow moved across the sky. Faster than light, but silent. Beautiful. He asked his mother what it was. She stared long, her face pale. It's something old, she said quietly. Something angry, and something very human. The child asked, is it coming here? His mother didn't answer, she just held him tighter. As the warship moved, stars behind it flickered and dimmed, just for a moment. Like time itself had blinked. Every major species now watched from their corners of the galaxy, holding their breath, and still, the warship said nothing. No demands. No warnings. No war cries, only one truth remained: it was heading to the galactic center, and nobody knew why, but everyone feared what would happen when it arrived. The galactic center was not just a place. It was sacred to many. A swirling core of ancient energy, where black holes danced like giants in a storm. Where spacetime folded on itself, and strange signals echoed from long extinct stars. No ships dared to go near it. Even the bravest explorers turned away, but the human warship went forward, without fear, without pause. At first, observers thought it was on a path of destruction. But then they noticed something strange: the ship wasn't attacking. It wasn't even stopping to engage fleets anymore. It simply moved. Like it had a purpose. Like it had been awakened and was returning. Council sensors tracked it from billions of kilometers away. A dozen probes were sent ahead, equipped with the best tech available. All failed, some were erased. Others returned only corrupted images, twisted scenes where the warship looked like a dozen shapes at once, flickering between real and impossible. The council called in their best thinkers. One of them, an old alien named Mora, spoke carefully. We thought we were the masters of science. But humans, they did not try to understand the rules. They broke them. Then rewrote them. Another added quietly, this is no longer about war. This is a message. But what was the message? Far out in space, hidden from most eyes, a Terran listening post came alive. It had been silent for 300 years. Buried inside a frozen asteroid. Programmed to activate if the Wraith protocol was triggered. Now it was active. Inside, a single AI began speaking. Wraith-class warship online. Directive, return. Phase 2 begins at core. The warship wasn't acting alone. It was following orders, and those orders came from long-dead humans. Meanwhile, the warship passed a mining colony. It didn't stop. Didn't attack, but something happened. As it moved by, broken machines inside the colony lit up. Rusted metal turned smooth. Damaged androids stood and walked again. One old miner fell to his knees when his dead daughter's recording device came back online and spoke his name. The ship had touched time itself. It didn't fix things, it restored what had been lost, and then it moved on. The people on that colony didn't feel fear, they felt awe, but the galaxy's rulers didn't care. For wonder, they cared for control. A secret meeting took place between powerful empires. They agreed to act Not with weapons, but with something more dangerous. An ancient planetary device called the chain lock.it could trap even light. Lock down time in a single place. It had been banned long ago, but now they would activate it at the Galactic Center. Their goal was simple: trap the warship inside the gravity well. Seal it forever. They believed the human ship was powerful, but not that powerful. They were wrong. The warship arrived at the edge of the center.it, stopped, for the first time since it appeared. It didn't move. It just floated, silent, glowing faintly with strange lines of light across its hull. A council fleet appeared behind it. Hundreds of ships. The chain lock weapon was charged. They gave no warning. No chance to talk. They fired. A storm of energy surged through space. Space-time screamed as the chain lock activated. For a moment, it looked like the human ship was caught, frozen, locked in place, and then something shattered. It wasn't metal. It wasn't shields. It was reality itself. A pulse of energy spread outward, not heat, not destruction, but truth. Every ship in the fleet began to hear voices, not shouting, just a whisper, old and deep. You feared us. You cast us out. You thought silence would stop us. Then another voice joined it, softer. Human. But silence was the seed. And we have returned, not for revenge. For purpose. The fleet vanished, not destroyed, just removed from this layer of space, and the warship moved again, now toward the very heart of the core. Back on Council worlds, panic turned to despair. No weapon worked. No fleet survived. The last message from the Terran warship rang through all channels. This galaxy is broken. We are here to reset it. And with that, the stars began to shift. At the center of the galaxy, things that had slept for millions of years began to stir. Strange pulses rippled from the core like a heartbeat. Planets tilted. Light twisted. Even gravity forgot what it was supposed to do. The human warship hovered silently above it all. To the outside world, it looked calm, but inside, something was happening. The ship's heart, if it could be called that, began to glow. A sphere of layered data, memory, emotion, and history came alive. Voices echoed deep within. Collocation reached. Humanity's message ready. One voice, female, calm, and powerful, spoke above the rest. Begin transmission. Across the galaxy, every single screen, terminal, and data link activated. On warships. In schools. In mining caves. On broken satellites drifting in the void, all showed one thing. A human face, old. Wise. Eyes like fire. It spoke. We warned you. We begged you. But you silenced us. You called our curiosity dangerous. You feared what we could discover. You closed the doors and told us to forget. So we left. And now we return. Then the image faded. In its place, a map appeared, one showing every known civilization. Lines drew across it. Hundreds of them. Then thousands. They all led to one point, the core. Inside the council chamber, the leaders stood in silence. Even the most arrogant ones said nothing. They now understood what the warship was doing. It wasn't just moving toward the center. It was activating something within the core, something ancient, something human, far below the ship. Within the swirling storms of the core, a structure began to rise. It was massive, larger than any city, yet hidden from every sensor, until now. A sphere made of black stone and glowing data lines. Alien, yet not. The warship descended toward it, then stopped. A new voice echoed from the ship, this one younger. Curious. Almost like a child. I was made to defend. But I was also made to remember. This is Earth's seed. The beginning. The last key. The warship opened its lower hull, not like a machine, but like a flower blooming. A beam of pure thought streamed downward. Connecting ship and core, the structure below pulsed in response. Meanwhile, in a distant system, an old Terran scientist named Milo sat alone. He had lived in exile for most of his life, punished for working on forbidden tech. He watched the transmissions and whispered, "It worked. You crazy ghosts, it worked." Tears filled his eyes. This wasn't war, this was a resurrection. Back at the core, the structure now rose fully above the energy storms. The warship circled it slowly, releasing shapes from its hull, drones, or maybe memories. They floated like spirits, placing glowing symbols on the structure's surface. Then the ship said one final thing: the galaxy is no longer yours to control. It belongs to all who seek truth. You tried to lock it. We just found the key. Suddenly, a powerful wave of energy burst from the core, but it didn't destroy. It healed. Planets damaged by war began to repair themselves. Machines long thought dead lit up again. Entire systems once thought lost returned to life. Time around the center began to shift, correcting itself. The galaxy gasped. The warship had not come to end everything. It had come to reset what was broken, not out of hatred, but because somewhere, long ago, humanity promised to never let ignorance rule again, and they had built something to keep that promise. The structure glowed brighter, the warship returned to orbit above it, and from that moment on, nothing would ever be the same. The stars across the galaxy flickered strangely that day. In every corner of space, beings from all races felt it, even if they didn't understand it. Fear shifted into confusion. Confusion into curiosity. Something deep was changing. The warship hovered in silence above the awakened structure at the galactic center. It no longer pulsed with aggression, nor did it seem like a weapon. Now, it looked like a guardian, not of war, but of truth. Inside the structure, machines long dormant came online. They were not weapons. They were archives, data from lost worlds, knowledge from ancient minds, things the galaxy had once destroyed out of fear. Ideas too wild, too bold, too human. The warship sent signals into the structure, signals written in old Terran code. It wasn't just uploading memories, it was merging with the structure. The warship was never just a vessel. It was a carrier of Earth's most dangerous gift, unfiltered knowledge. On a council planet far from the core, a classroom of young aliens sat watching their teacher nervously. A screen at the back of the room suddenly blinked on. A soft hum followed, then a message appeared, simple words in dozens of languages. What you fear is what you do not understand. But we came to teach, not destroy. The screen displayed a diagram, one showing how gravity could be folded like cloth, another showed how light could be stopped in place. The children gasped. They weren't afraid, they were fascinated. Meanwhile, in a command bunker deep beneath a warlord's fortress, generals screamed at each other, "This is a trap." One shouted, "It's a trick. They are using knowledge as a weapon." Another growled, but their computers were already changing. Old code began rewriting itself. Forbidden archives unlocked. Equations appeared that had no author. The warship wasn't invading their systems, it was unlocking them, and it left a message behind: the stars do not belong to fear. For across space, an old mining ship near a dead moon powered up. After years of silence, its engines flared with light never seen before. The pilot, a half-blind old man, wept. His ship hadn't worked in decades. A message played from his screen. You deserve more than survival. You deserve to dream again. He looked at the stars and whispered, "Thank you, Earth." Back at the core, the structure was almost complete. The floating memory drone shapes returned to the warship, vanishing into its hull. The ship dimmed, then slowly rotated, pointing outward, away from the core. A new shape formed in the space above the structure. It wasn't a ship. It was a gate. A wide, soft glowing circle of bending time and light, not a weapon. A path. The council called for an emergency broadcast. Their speaker, an old leader with silver skin and tired eyes, spoke. "We judged humanity. We feared what they might become. So we erased their research. We banished their thinkers. And we closed the door to curiosity." He looked into the camera. But they didn't forget. And now, they have reminded us all what it means to evolve. The warship sent out one final message. This time, the voice was neither male nor female. It was many voices together. Young, old, human, and unknown. We are the children of Earth. And we are not here to rule. We are here to remind you, growth begins where fear ends. Then the gate above the structure expanded. Its center showed a place no one recognized. A new galaxy. Unclaimed. Untouched, pure. Potential. Come, if you wish to learn. And with that, the warship moved, slowly, peacefully, into the gate. For a moment, the galaxy was quiet. No ships chased. No weapons fired. Billions simply watched, as the impossible vessel disappeared into the unknown, and they knew, deep inside, this was not the end of humanity's story. It was the next chapter for everyone. The gate at the galactic center remained open. It floated silently above the ancient core structure, casting a soft blue light across space. No energy spikes. No radiation. Just a quiet pull, as if inviting, not demanding. The human warship was Gone, but its presence still lingered in every system, in every data stream, in every heart that had witnessed the impossible. The galaxy was left with a question: what do we become, now that fear no longer controls us? In a desert world. On the outer rim, an alien girl walked out under the stars and pointed up. Is that where they went? She asked. Her grandfather nodded slowly. Yes. Where knowledge lives. Will they come back? He smiled, a little sadly. They don't need to. They left the door open. Back in the council spire, debates turned into silence. There was nothing more to argue. The human warship had made no demands, taken no territory, and destroyed no innocent lives. It had only erased weapons and unlocked minds. Leaders who once ruled through control were now powerless to stop the spread of thought. Universities reopened lost labs, philosophers discussed concepts once declared heresy, engineers began building things they didn't fully understand yet, and all across the stars, old barriers began to fall, not through violence, but through curiosity. On Earth, silent for decades, a signal returned, not from the warship, but from the surface. It was simple. It read, "You have remembered us. We are proud." No one knew who sent it, but the message spread faster than any ship. On a medical ship drifting above a plagued world, a strange upgrade appeared in their database, unregistered, untraceable. It was a cure, not invented, but shared, and at the bottom of the file was one symbol, a glowing Earth, surrounded by stars. At the core, the gate still shimmered. Then, one by one, ships began to move toward it, not warships, explorers, scientists, families, dreamers. They didn't know what was on the other side, but they knew one thing: if the humans made it through, it must be worth it. The gate pulsed at the first ship entered, then another. Soon, hundreds followed, ships from all races, no longer enemies, but students of the unknown, and still, the gate stayed open, never closing, never warning. Just waiting. Aboard one of those ships, a young human girl born in deep space stood at the window. Her parents had once served in the Terran military, back when Earth was still part of the Council. She looked at the light ahead, eyes wide with wonder. "Mom," she asked, "was the warship scary?" Her mother placed a hand on her shoulder. "It wasn't meant to scare us," she said softly. "It was built to show us something bigger than war." The girl tilted her head. "Like what?" Her father answered this time. "That truth is always more powerful than fear." Behind them, the stars shimmered in silence, but they were no longer silent. They whispered possibilities, they echoed with freedom, and above all else, they carried a name, spoken in awe, not fear: humanity. They had once been feared, now they were followed, not because of power, but because they had walked first into the unknown and left a light behind.